The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Knowing those hard times I went through, if in this game I missed the goal, stole my days and over, dreaded out that thing that I paid a cost. I watched all my castles fall, they were made of dust. After all, someday all this mess will make my love. I can wait, I can wait, I can wait, I can wait. If I ever feel better, remind me to spend some good time with you. You can give me your number. When it's all over, I'll let you know. If I ever feel better.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
It's like somebody took my place. I ain't even playing my own game. The rules have changed, well, I didn't know. There are things in my life I can't control. I feel the chaos around me, a thing I don't try to deny. I better learn to accept that there's a part of my life that will go away. Dark is the night, cold is the ground, and the sickle is silent in my heart. There's one that strives a hell to come. I am sure I'll come through, I don't know how. They say a name can be a start. Feels like I'm above you, still alive. I'm losing my battles on the tightrope. Tell me please, tell me please, tell me please, tell me please.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Remind me to spend some good time with you. You can give me your number. When it's all over, I'll let you know. If I ever feel better, remind me to spend some good time with you. You can give me your number. When it's all over, I'll let you know. If I ever feel better, remind me to spend some good time with you. You can give me your number. When it's all over,
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Now here you go again, you say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it. But listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness as a heartbeat drives you mad.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
What you had and what you lost, and what you had and what you lost. Oh,
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Now here I go again. I see the crystal vision. I keep my visions to myself. It's only me who wants to wrap around your dreams.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Dreams you like yourself. Dreams of loneliness like a heartbeat drives you back. And you're still as a rebel what you held and what you love. What you had. Oh, what you love. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Say when they will come and they will go.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Just about time to start the Thursday Trading Studio. Before we get going, let me know on the questions panel if you can hear me and see that first slide. Thanks, Dave and Todd. All right, thanks, friends. So before we get going, quick question. Do you currently have an active subscription, yes or no? There's a poll up on your screen. Just use that. And while you're voting, I'll remind everyone that you're muted. You need to use the questions panel to interact. And if you have a question you want to see demonstrated, wait until the presenters are asking for your questions. Otherwise, if you just want to type out, reply, ask them anytime. All right, so a little over 60% are active subscribers. Those of you that don't, keep in mind, we give out a discount code later on in the webinar, so stay tuned for that. It'll save you some cash. Here's a follow-up for the subscribers. Are you using premium or standard trade ideas? If you're not familiar with the difference, premium is the version that gives you access to the AIs, the AI channels, the backtesting tools, the ability to auto-trade using the AI. You have a participating broker, other good stuff like the RBI, GBI, advanced windows, the ability to open up more charts simultaneously. All right, so it looks like most of those in the room today with a subscription are already premium subscribers. And if you decide you want to do that upgrade, grab the same code we give out later on. It'll save you some cash too. Your hosts, as usual on Thursdays, are Andy Lindlaw and Jamie Hodge. I'm going to record this and have the recording up later on tonight or tomorrow, and you'll get an email reminder tomorrow when you go to webinar with a link to the playlist where you can find it. So I'm going to start that recording off now and let Andy and Jamie take over. Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, Scott. Thank you. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Andy, good evening or afternoon, depending on what time zone everybody might be in. What's going
Or
on?
morning in that case, yeah, I guess. Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Looks like we're going to have a good crowd, and I'd like to always thank people for coming in, taking time out of their day to try to learn something. And it's our job. Hello, Mike C. How are you, buddy? I was wondering when you were going to stroll in here. Yeah, it's our job to do that, to entertain you, and not only that, but to hopefully give you something that you can take with you today that'll help you become a better trader, a better investor, whatever your time frame might be. But let's dive in, okay? And bear with us. We're going to go through some of our slides for the new people, and some of the ones, some of the people who may have only been with us for a couple of weeks or so. But first of all, I need to talk about the disclaimer here. Okay, we are content publishers. This is for educational purposes only. Nothing that you see or hear today should be construed as investment advice. If that's what you're looking for, you want to seek out somebody with a Series 7. That would be a stockbroker, a registered advisor. All right, let's dive into the support, education, and training that we do have here. You can see along the left side there, guys, we like to provide as much education and training as we can, and we do so, and we take pride in doing so. We have a webinar every Monday through Thursday in this same time slot. That would be 5 Eastern time. You can see the combination over there. It's usually myself, Jamie, and Steve kind of juggling the responsibilities, paired up in twos. But we do on Wednesdays. We have our CEO, Dan Merkin, and our CTO, Brad Williams, will come in. And then we have, as you see down on the bottom, guys, we have the support webinar. And this is every Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time. Okay, this is the place you want to come if you have questions. And the reason we want you to come here versus sending us something to our email is because here you have a visual. Okay, you're able to ask questions and then see it not only being answered, but you can see it a visual presentation of what your question pertaining to your question. So please, if you can, make that if you have any questions. That's every Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time. And that is on live stream. So I'm sorry, these are not recorded daily, but hopefully you guys can make it. And let's not forget about the Traders Room. The Traders Room is a great place if you want to trade and follow some really good traders in there, but it's also a great place to learn, okay? People can be very helpful in there, mainly Barry. Barry loves when you ask questions. Obviously, he's also trading, but he finds time to answer your questions as well. All right, let me talk just real briefly on the simulated trading we have here at Trade Ideas. Call it a paper trader, if you will, but it's a great interface, guys, for you to come in and start firing off paper trades. And you can trade any time frame you want. You can day trade, you can swing trade, you can get a whole bunch of trades on your blotter and just kind of manage them. So you do not need a broker connection, okay? And you do not need to fund an account. Everything's done on our server here. So it's a great little tool. We're very proud of it. And I actually trade a live account on it. I've been doing it for well over a year now with some of the other guys here. Man, take it from somebody who's traded on about over 10 platforms. This is by far, head and heels above the others. It's a really cool interface. So take advantage of that. There's no extra charge, okay? As long as you have a standard subscription, you have access to that paper trader. All right, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to click one more time. There we go. Look at the agenda for today. We're going to talk about the market recap. I'll have some insight on that. It's kind of some quirky stuff going on now, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. And Jamie will take it over for the Holly recap and go over the trades. Wasn't a whole lot on today, I don't think, were there, Jamie? But
nope, and that's kind of keeping in tradition with the past kind of week. Just lackluster performance, you could call it, or just really an absence of statistically weighted alpha out there in the market conditions that we're in.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe Holly senses the election coming up or something. But yeah, I think it has a lot to do with some of the price action we're seeing in some of this stuff. There's a lot of reallocating going around, I think, right now. Once again, we'll talk about that when we come to the market recap. And then this is something I built, this SMA tracker. I actually built this for a fund manager a while back, but it's a really cool tool. I talked about it maybe, it's been well over a year ago. I added some more columns, and I think this will be fun. It's a great little top list where you guys can, it's great for a watch list. If you have a watch list, or if you just want to track, you know, the S&P 500, whatever you want to do, you can do it. But yeah, it's a really cool little watch list and the sort feature is what I kind of want to show off today, how you can just use the sort feature to find, profitability, find opportunity in the marketplace. And then we've been having a lot of fun with these price alerts, guys. So I want everybody out there who wants to play, have a stock in mind, okay? And you need to give me the stock and the entry point, and we will set a price alert, okay? We'll also go over last week's winner, or a couple of winners here. Boy, several of them went off. I think maybe all of them may have gone off, but and they were really doing good. But we did have a little pullback over the last couple of days, which I thought was funny since the market kept going to highs. But like I said, it's kind of the way the market is right now. We'll take a look at those here when we're done. But let me back out first right now, and let's go over the market recap. And we always start out with the SPYs because it's more equal weighted, a lot more stocks comprising of the S&P index here. Boy, looking at it on the surface, even though the volume was very light today, you can see up there in the volume on my single stock window here was 0.70. So very light volume, but nonetheless, look what we have here. Okay, we have a nice little pivot level. If you can draw it right there, that we're above and closed above. We will see if we can build on that. Not a whole lot of resistance going to this level over here. So very interesting. Maybe, I don't know what's going to happen actually, but not a lot of enthusiasm in the SPYs today, as we did take out a month-old high. Closed out of that little range there, although barely. We'll see if there's any continuation here tomorrow, but nothing bearish can be said, right now. So let's, if you're bullish, I think you just want to hope that we can build on that. I want to keep in the back of your mind, we do have an all-important election. There's things that can take this, much like the action we saw back over here on this day, with what I'm seeing in the marketplace, there's not a lot of liquidity, and all it would take is a little bit of scare and bring this thing right back down to our averages. So you kind of keep that in the back of your mind there. Let's take a look at the Qs, because I've noticed some of the big Q, our big boys in that sector haven't been playing, and you can see by the looks of this chart right here that the Qs have not gotten above this level like the SPYs have. And Steve pointed out today that the IWM, we talked about reallocation. Let's take a look at the IWM, and really it's overperforming. Its relative strength is in the IWM and the small caps. When's the last time we said that, guys? This is definitely showing some strength there. Took out this level actually a couple of days ago and building on it. So looks like we do have some money coming out of maybe some high-flying tech stocks and into the IWM. If you look on the daily, you can see they're still a long ways away, guys, from their all-time highs set back over here. But there's definitely some strength, and I guess that's all-time highs. Am I missing? Yeah, that's all-time highs. Yep. Okay, so there you have it. The relative strength is in the IWM right now. So let's take a look at Apple. I was mentioning this to the guys today. Not playing ball at all. I mean, it hasn't done really anything in the last couple of weeks. It's kind of trending, going sideways there. Facebook, although it had a decent day today, still kind of in no man's land, right in the middle of its 5-day range. Let's take a look at Google, see what it's up to. Once again, just like Facebook, good day today, but still below its 50 moving average. So Take a look at one other, Amazon, and same thing. They're just not seeing a lot of excitement in these big tech stocks. So could be some, like I said, some reallocation out of this into the small caps. People looking for maybe some value out there. Time will tell. But right now, I think, boy, the IWM is looking pretty good compared to the other ones. So if you got any small caps that you've been keeping an eye on, yeah, don't you might not want to hesitate if you see them moving. Jamie, any thoughts on what we're looking at here?
Well, it was an encouraging close, above that, what's the magic number there? The 343 level?
Around 343,
just call it that. So get a strong day tomorrow, edge on up to that next little, with the high of that bar from the 4th. I could see us going sideways tomorrow or edging on up to that, that previous high from September 4th.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think time will tell. I mean, like I said, I think you got to be. It's almost like this market is tiptoeing up. Kind of really, looking around as it creeps higher. So any little, macro news, or it doesn't have to be macro news, just any news I think related to the presidency, the big election we have coming up. You might want to, just keep your stops in place, or keep an eye on the market if you do have to get up and walk away, because it can get tripped up really quick in an environment like this.
Right, and there's a lot of back and forth, like you were saying, Andy. A lot of back and forth in a lot of these stocks.
Mm-hmm.
They're up nice, up, back down to flat. Oh, we're down significantly. Oh, we're profitable again in that position. Seeing a lot of that in just our little internal blotter, that we maintain.
Sure.
But then also too, I'm noticing correlations with the AI and the market conditions that we're in. Number one, the low number of trades from the AI, because it's, even from a statistical model standpoint, we're just in a spot in the market where it's harder to find that alpha. So the good news is, when things start to change, hopefully we'll have a little bit of an edge by seeing maybe some differences in the way the AI is trading, or more frequency going up to the next pivot point, or curling down to the next pivot point. So we'll just have to see.
Yep. All right, Jamie, you want to take it over? And I'm sorry, I was reading some of the.
Yeah. And I was looking at Todd. Yeah. He had some AI questions there about 10, time frames, specific time frames. And I guess I'll say this about the AI. The question is, well, are you going to have strategies that look more at the 1 minute time frame, the 5 minute time frame? And although we have filters for all of those time frames, a variety of different filters and alerts that all look at 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, what everybody has to understand is that the AI strategies are collections of filters, okay? And the end all be all as to whether or not that strategy has a chance of making it into the cut is how the optimization and the back test works out, right? If it meets that minimum score on our scoring system, then that strategy is going to make the cut for the next day. Not necessarily because we, from a user standpoint, I can completely understand, hey, I'd like to see things on these smaller time frames, but that's not the way the AI works, right? It takes what's working best in the back test, and sometimes it might be those smaller time frames, and sometimes it might not be, but it's using the collective filter power and the end all be all of the back test and the optimization to dictate whether or not the strategy makes the cut for the next trading session. It's not like we can force a 1 minute strategy in there, right?
Right. And let me add this, Todd. I think, you're referring to the AI. Okay, we have tons of, we have actually a Momo channel, a Momentum channel. You can see on my blotter here, Extreme Master Blaster, Extreme Volume, High-Low Pro. We have tons of momentum alerts, okay? It's just not AI driven, okay? It's something you can configure yourself, and you can see all the ones coming through that's doing huge volume, breaking out, whatever, however you want to set up the your filter. So We do definitely have the technology for everything you're asking for, but I can tell you from experience, because I tried to back test momentum alerts there, and it's virtually impossible, because each one has its own personality. You don't have any idea, or we'd all be, retired somewhere living on an island, which one of these alerts and the momentum alerts are going to continue to go. You can make your best judgment by looking at the, volume and is it breaking out of a range on the daily chart? And, that's what I try to teach people to do. But to try to correlate that into an AI, it's virtually impossible, because there's so much high frequency trading noise. But anyway, we do have the technology. It's just not built into Holly. As far as, I shouldn't say that. We do have one called Neo. You might want to keep your eye on Neo during earnings season. It looks for fast moving, stocks. Okay. That would be your best bet as far as, trying to find the ones, in play using our AI.
Yes, Andy, and that's another odd thing, is that Neo is the more aggressive of the trio, and it was completely silent today. So that's also kind of telling us about where the market is and what kind of state things might be in. Of course, the correlating lower volumes in the big tracking ETFs today too. So it's kind of like the market's taking a little bit of a breather today as far as volume goes.
Yeah, exactly. And don't give me another week. Once we have earnings really pouring in, yeah, that Neo is going to be very active. It should be anyway. But maybe another 2 weeks. But
all right, Andy, I'm going to go ahead and grab it from you. And, Holly recap's going to be relatively short and sweet. Based on what we see here, we only had, let me get my pointer out here. If we check out the title bar or the channel bar over here, 1.0 only kicked out 2 signals, 2.0 only kicked out 3, and of course Neo took its nap today. So we only had 5 signals total, which we can see on the alt trades plotter here, and up slightly if we're looking at trading 100 shares per trade. However, if we come down here and click on moderate profit, assuming I'm risking $100 per trade and letting the system get me into as many shares as that would permission, down slightly here. And of course, this is a gross total. It doesn't take into account commissions or slippage. So if we tacked on slippage and commission, I'd probably say double that. If I were auto trading the AI today, I'd probably be down about $100 in moderate profit mode, even though we're seeing a gross of 53 there. Okay, so typically what I like to point out are some of the spreads between conservative and moderate profit that have developed by the end of the day. And of course, today, we only have this one right here, ATGE, conservative profit 37.80. If you held till the end of the day, you're looking at 116. Yeah, there's a $3 spread right there in CTVA, but we're not going to worry about that one. Otherwise, just kind of lackluster, some small losers down here, and one stop hit. And typically on the stop hits, sometimes these can be good trade around stocks if we pay attention to how the stock acted around its stop area. And you can see here, once we got down to the stop area, it just kind of hung out there all day. Might have been worth taking a stab at in this area, but it ended up never moving. Didn't even get back up to the entry line there. So not really any decent trade arounds to speak of. ATGE is the only one that we could have benefited or made more money in by ignoring Holly's timed exit signal here. So exit price on this one, 26.60, which is right about I wouldn't say the bottom of the wick, or maybe it is. I'll just put a little line right here. But this is where Holly got out of the trade right here, based on her timed hold right there in that wick. Timed exit on support, that was a 60-minute hold, as we can see down here. So she just pulled the plug because the stop loss didn't get triggered. She didn't make the reduced risk or the profit save exit. But this one, if we were trying to take a little piece with Holly here and hold the other half till the break-even point, it would have got us out today. All right, we would have had to literally just kind of thrown caution to the wind and said, I'm going to stick to my hard stop. Had you done that, it would have paid off. You would have had to sit a little bit of pain back down to the entry level before finally catching this move in the latter part of the day here. Oops, how did I do that? All right, sorry about that. But that's pretty much it. Just a little bit of spread here, about $76 a little bit more than that between conservative and moderate profit exit on the ATGE. Not a bad exit in the CTVA here. Pretty much held that one into the close on another timed exit. Entry signal coming way back here, and just a nice little slow increase into the close. But that's pretty much it. Holly was pretty docile today.
Yeah.
And that's about all we got for the Holly show.
All right, Jamie. Hey, thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Good job. All right. So let me dig up this SMA tracker I want to talk to you about, and just kind of give you a little background on this. So I was working with a fund manager that had a pretty big portfolio with all his big clients in there, and he wanted to figure out a way to what's a good way for him to keep track, to keep track of all these stocks that are in there. He had a list of about 30 of them, I think. And so what I did is I built with him what I call the SMA tracker. Now let's take a look at the, I know there's a lot of data points here. Let's take a look at what we're looking at by going to the configuration. And this is the top list, which means there doesn't have to be alert. Okay, anything is going, as long as everything is, as long as everything is meeting the filter set, shouldn't have any problem with, it should be pulling up in your scan. So what you want to do is when you build these top lists, you want to keep them real basic in the configuration here. You can see this is my total configuration is price above $5. The EPS, this is just an EPS hack to make sure no ETFs will come through. And then average daily volume above 500,000 shares a day. I don't like trading stocks that only do 100,000 or something like that. I like them kind of a little bit liquid. All right, and that's it. And then what you do is you use the power of columns. So in this case, I didn't put a symbol list in this one. What I did in this one was did the comp score, the stock composite rating, okay, has to be above 70. So I know any stock that has a composite rating above 70 is going to be a pretty decent looking stock, okay, on a chart. Just by the way, it's a scale from 30 to 100. So if it's above 70, it's typically going to have a very bullish trend to it. All right, so what I want to do is, okay, let's pretend like this was my portfolio and I wanted to track it. I wanted to be able to just look on my top list and see where a stock might be trading without even having to go and pull up a chart or pull up my blotter to see if I'm up or down or something like this. I can just kind of quickly look at a top list window and look at it from there. So I wanted to add some very important columns that I could use. So I just started going in here and building columns for it. Okay, simple, symbols, pretty straightforward. And then I wanted to see change from 200 SMA. I want to see change from 50 SMA. I want to see change from 20 SMA, and I wanted to see change from 10 SMA. Okay, thus the name SMA tracker. Okay, these are all SMAs. So I want to see where the stock is trading relative to its all important SMAs in my book anyway. And the rest of them just basic change from close, relative volume. I like to know when the earnings date is. You can look on there and see when the earnings date is. So remember, every filter that we have, you can use as a column. So when you're using a top list, don't try to use too many filters because you can always put it in a column and just sort it and find that data anyway. All right, so that is the way it worked. Now, what I did is, and this is not going to be a class on color coordinating, but it's pretty easy if you want to do it. If you want to do like a column, you just right-click in a column, and you go to Customize Colors. Okay, and then if I wanted to, I hope I don't ruin this, but if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to build a new one. Okay, I could just delete all, and then I can just come in here and put in my breakpoints. Okay, let's say my breakpoints were 50, 30, what didn't it Try that again. 30, 10, 0. So you see what I'm doing here, and I think I had a -5 in there. Okay, then once you do this, you have all these breakpoints, and you can use our little color scheme right here to create the coloring in your columns. So when you see a color, you can automatically kind of it's easier to pick up, you know, as far as where the breaks are. In other words, if a stock's trading 15 relative volume versus 2 relative volume, you can, you know, break it down by the colors. You can see a dark color, you know, it's, hey, it's doing 15 or what. But I'm going to cancel this because I've already done it. I just kind of wanted to show you, and then you could come over here and make these different, use our different color schemes here, or you can flip colors. There's a lot of things you can do with it. All right, so I'm going to cancel this because since I already got it in there. All right, so you may be asking, okay, how can this help me? Well, first of all, it can be great if you have like a portfolio and you wanted to follow, just like I was telling you about. You can look in here at any time at your stock, and let's find one that may be kind of, this is a good one. Let's say you own this CELH right here, okay? I know it's had a big run over the last several weeks or months, whatever it is, because it's still 97% above its 200-day SMA. Okay, that's a huge number. Okay, but look what's happening here in the 50-day. Okay, it's barely above. The 20-day, it's actually below. You can see this white is going to be a negative figure. It's -3.7. The 10-day, it's below it now. Okay, so I know this one has had, it was up a lot more, and it's having a pretty good, you know, pullback right now. And if I pull this up, you can see it did. It had a nice little run from $4 all the way up to $26, and now it's kind of pulling back, and you can see it's resting right there on its 50-day moving average. See, our column right here is showing you that, hey, this, if I'm not in this stock and I see this, I'm thinking, man, this may be a pretty good entry there. You know, it's been kind of going sideways. It's pulled back. It's held at 50 right there. It's held at 50 there. Let me get my curve. You can see it held at 50 there. It bounced off the 50 there, and here we have it again. Now, if it breaks below that, it could be in danger of selling off, you know, more. But I can tell without even pulling up the chart, you know, I can see this information on my top list window here, this tracker. And let me show you another way. It's a great way to use something like this. Okay, let's say, go back on my cursor here. You can sort by the different days. So you want to see which ones are up more above their 200-day moving average, just pull it, sort by the 200-day moving average. Look at this one. You know, things has gone from, you know, $2 to $15. Now it's pulling back. Even with this pullback, it's still 279% above its 200-day moving average. That tells you it's had a huge move without even looking at the, you know, at the chart. Now, let's say you want to look for opportunity. Okay, let's say you want to find some opportunity in the marketplace. You know all these have a score that are greater than 70, which is a good score. And you want to find things that may be pulling back to their 50-day moving average. Well, what I would do is just sort by 50-day moving average. Okay, now all you got to do is scroll down, find the ones that are near 0, and here they are right here. You can start wherever you wanted to and just thumb through these. There's one right there that popped above its 50-day moving average there. But all these are going to be just above their 50-day moving average. This one's actually pulling back next to it. So this can really come in handy when you're looking for opportunity. Or let's say 50 is not your thing. You want to look at the 20-day moving average. Same thing. We'll sort by 20-day moving average. And we want to go down to where we get close to 0. And voila, we just find these right here. The C-back should be touching it. Pretty sloppy chart there, though. There's one just resting right above it, kind of like the Morgan Stanley. I'm not sure what's going on with these brokers. I tell you, they're just all over the place. There's one right there. Doesn't look bad, just resting above. And what you'll find when we do have a pullback in the market, okay, you're going to find a lot more setups in there because right now we just had a couple of good days. A lot of these, although that one right there looks like it wants to go higher, holding up very well. Let's say you want to be more aggressive. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to search for the, we've done the 50, we've done the 20. Now let's do the 10-day. All right, we can scroll down here, and there you have it. Now these are going to be probably a little stronger charts pulling back. Look at that beautiful one right there. Flowers Foods. Okay, you got that 10-period moving average right below it. Could be setting up for a possible. This is how you find opportunities, guys, by scanning in the nighttime. Look at this possible right here, cup and handle, almost textbook. That's one I'm going to mark up right now and keep an eye on for sure. And well, I'll just set, price alert right there. All right, ZTC. That one, interesting. A couple of, I don't know what's going on there, a couple of big volume bar days. It's crazy. And has gone nowhere. Jeez. I'm doing a little homework during my webinar, Jamie.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little multitasking.
No. Nice little wedge pattern or a flag pattern right there. If you draw, I'm not going to just do it right there. You can kind of see what's happening, what's going on there. So guys, something like a scan, and let's face it, ours is a lot more sophisticated than what you're going to find out there, in the marketplace, our competition, because we can do so much dynamic sorting and so many filters, that we have that can show you pretty much anything that you want. Let's say you just want to see which ones have done the most relative volume. We can sort by relative volume. Of course, a lot of these are going to be big gap up strong on the day. That little rip. JKS could be putting in a top right there. Well, time will tell. Not sure what the news on IBM today. It's one I don't follow anymore. So you can, there's so many things you can do. Change from the close. Sort from change from the close. So this can be just a very, very powerful tool. Just maybe midday, just to have up to keep you away from trading when things are just acting irrational. Maybe, you take this and when things get slow, you can look for opportunity and just set price alerts like I did just then. When it comes to trading, I think a lot of times, your best thing to do is to just do your homework and don't be trying to force trades that aren't there. And we're seeing a lot of that lately. But trying to think if I missed anything else I want to talk about this. And once again, I use Score here. You can use this with your watch list. This would be something great to use with your watch list. So you can just sit there and find opportunity. And not all of them are going to be up on the day either. You can see some down here that just got smacked around like that WWER. Maybe if something like this you're watching, if it meets with this fast line, this 10-period moving average, you can come in here and just say, I'm going to make a price alert right there because I think it may be touching that 10-period moving average at that time. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share this with you guys. And once again, I think it could be a very practical tool, especially in the evenings, when you want to do your homework for the next day, pull something like this up, make some price alerts, and be ready for the next day. Let me go ahead and share this. And you will find it. I'm going to drop it into the chat window of your GoToWebinar interface and SMA tracker. And there you have it. So for you people who are new in here, what I'm doing, I'm sharing the cloud link. I'm sharing the code for this this window, so people can actually grab it right out of the chat window there and have access to it immediately. Nice feature that we have at Trade Ideas, the ability to share any scan with people. All right, before I move on, Jamie, to the price alerts, is there anything? Let me give me a drink of water too, please. Anything I need to ask out there, answer?
Just look at this last question that popped in. The problem of scan
All
is the
right.
time we never can take a scan of stock Kappa. Can you see
Yeah.
that question from Yassine? My chat panel had gotten smashed together, so now I can see the whole question here.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing, Yassine. When it comes to gaps, you know, that's potluck a lot of times. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this scan right here. Okay, if you looked at it the night before, it's going to look totally different because none of these stocks that gapped way up are going to be in there, where they might be, but they might be lower. You know, in the obviously in the relative volume and the changes from the moving averages. But gaps is just something everybody's got to deal with. You know, that's something that nobody can predict. I mean, so, but nonetheless, I mean, of all the stocks that are in here, which is probably about, if I had to guess, probably about 100. You know, maybe only a handful. He had really big gaps in them. But hey, you're at least seeing them. You're seeing the ones that gapped up, so you can always come in and look for pullbacks. You know, keep track on it. Keep track of it by using the 10 period. I'm sorry, the 10 period SMA. Maybe that stock that's gapping up today, 4 days from now, it's pulling back, and you're seeing it close to the 10 period moving average. All right, let's move on to the price alerts. It's been kind of fun. Let's see who the big winner was this past week here. And it looks like to me the winner was Waleed with a percent triggered from the symbol WORK. The alert price was $27.99, would have been right in here. Okay, and it's had nice 4 days of follow through. So a nice one there, Waleed, if you're in here today. I noticed that several of you guys had some really good ones. Play from Dave was hasn't really gone far, but I think this may have been a pullback. Yeah, I think a pullback alert that
yeah, there was
actually
a pullback. Yep, a little over 5%, not too shabby.
Yep, not too shabby at all. Flowers from Jeff was doing a lot better after a couple of days. It is pulling back now, but it's got that fast line coming up. This is one that could continue higher there. So you guys know what you're doing. Team had a pullback today, but was doing quite well. Farouk, if you're in here, that was a good one. I see Waleed and Dave. All right. It was, yeah, I remember that. So nice work, guys. Very nice work. Let's do this, okay? Gosh, I hate when I have all these, I put all my alerts in here and I got to trash them. You know what? Maybe I don't. I can just use the created. I can sort by created, and it should be on the bottom. Let me see if the ones I just put in there. Yeah, let me do that. Let me try that. All right, guys. So we're going to do this again. This is fun. Not only that, we're everybody's getting these ideas. I'm sharing them with everybody. Jamie had the good idea to share them last week, so you guys can see how everybody's doing against each other. I'll make notes in there again. Once again, I need you to call out the stock and the price. Okay, and Dave is quick on this one. Oh yeah, you see that from my I think from my, I thought I saw that on my revenue growth fishing. I don't know what happened to it, but he says BMRA, and yeah, it was definitely on there. For some reason, it's not on there right now, and it is at 786. So he's putting it. That looks pretty good there. I tell you, I've done very well with that revenue growth fishing today. I caught this. I was in this J move coming into the day. I tweeted it out yesterday. I don't know if anybody follows me out there, but okay, this is Dave F. And yeah, I like the looks of that, Dave. So we're going to put that right there and actually going to bring it down just a notch. There we go. May it pop back up. PL, Bill says PL Oh, he got it from Time to Nibble. I hadn't looked at that in a while. I got to dig that up. PLMR. And Time to Nibble in PLMR is at 82.58. Oh, he's putting it tight. This may go off. It's already trading up to 83.41. So I'm gonna have to go a little bit higher, okay? Otherwise, it's just gonna keep triggering. So we're gonna put it right up here. We'll put it at 80.67. And that is from Bill Enberg. Alexander says game may have already triggered. 40. Alexander, it's only trading at 14. Did you mean 14? Oh yeah, I don't. I need to tweet more, David. I'll throw that. I'll give it to you for sure. When Scott's signing us off here. But Alexander, I need you to know 40, but it's trading at 14. Or 14.42 to be exact. They signed up with right. But I'm giving you where you may put the price alert, not where do you think it's going to go. I tell you what, I'll stick it at 15 up here because it's a good chance. I'll tell you what, let's put it at 14.75. All right, guys, we need some more. We need some more players. HD from Todd Bell. And I need a price on that HD. Looks pretty good there. You just want to go above like today's high or 285 or something? Now I'm gonna go. We got it's trading right now at 285. Let's go. We'll go to 285, 20. And all right, they're coming now. Zoom. I need a price on Zoom. Jeff has PRTS at above 1170. All right, let's do that. And that would be Jeff. Okay, let's see. I'll go back to that one, Todd. 292. And Exxon 3725 from Stan. $37.25. You sure you want to go that high? That will do it. Stan G. Vox from George Young at 9 to 950. Yeah, we don't need yeah. Let's go at 9. And that was okay, I got your Zoom, and that was George Young. And we got Zoom at 482.50. All right. And oh yeah, you wanted me to change that. All right, looks like they're all in, guys. Let's see. No, got one more from Waleed. I don't think you've had one yet, Waleed. 27.95. And we got Beyond being coming in. Oh boy, that thing's crazy. He's looking for continued momentum for David Harper at 195. Yeah, that's true, Dave. It is. All right. All right, guys, we got quite a few. Thank you for playing. This is fun. Let me go and find them and share them with everybody so you guys can kind of keep track. It should be down here at the bottom. Yep. So let me just copy. All right, and I'm going to drop them in the chat box, guys, so you guys will have them. Price alerts. This is fun. May the best man win, or woman. And all right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We will circle back around next week and check them out. And I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to bring Scott in here to walk us out. Thank you guys so much for your participation today. And Scott, you can come on in and walk us out of here.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, a couple things on the way out. We do have daily support sessions, so bookmark the link trade-ideas.com/live and join us during market hours. It's at 12 noon Eastern. We also simulcast our trading room on there. We've got an earnings ebook out and available, trade-ideas.com/earnings. It has some strategies there to help you take advantage of earnings season and how to use them. Got a new podcast up this week. Search for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to your pods. As a subscription, grab the newest up and some of the more recent ones. They've got a series of interviews. There's a code, Fall Savings. All caps saves you 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas. Or you can also use that code to save on an upgrade from standard to premium. Jamie can be found on Twitter at FontBot. Our Steve Gomez is at Day Trader. We also have at Trade Ideas. Trade Ideas Pro is the Facebook handle to follow and like. And any questions at all, email us info@trade-ideas.com. The recording of this webinar will be up later on tonight or tomorrow. And go to webinar. We'll send you a reminder tomorrow with a playlist where you can find it. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks, everybody. David, send an email. I'll shoot you that over there. I'm sorry, I forgot. Jamie.
All right, everybody have a good one. See you tomorrow.